You want to get somewhere. You want to build something that lasts. Then you better start getting comfortable with discomfort. I'm talking about waking up when you're tired, showing up when you don't feel like it, and giving everything you've got when nobody's watching. You don't just stumble into greatness. You don't trip and fall into success. That takes work, real work, back. Breaking, soul-grinding, ego-destroying work. You want a shortcut. There ain't one. Only the long way, the hard way, the right way. The path no one wants to walk because it hurts, because it's lonely, because it's damn inconvenient. That's the road to becoming something more than just average. Let me tell you something that they don't print on posters and don't sing about in songs. There is no talent strong enough to carry a lazy soul. You can be gifted beyond belief, born with every edge, but if you're not willing to bleed for what you say you want, if you're not ready to crawl through failure and embarrassment and exhaustion, then you're not serious. You're just making noise, and life doesn't respond to noise. It responds to pressure. Pressure that you create through consistency, through repetition, through a sick, almost unreasonable level of commitment to the grind. You can have all the potential in the world, but if you're not willing to suffer for it, to sweat for it, to cry for it, to sacrifice your comfort, your time, your sleep, your ego, your distractions, then don't expect anything but regret. Because that's what's waiting on the other side of laziness. Not peace, not rest, not contentment. Regret, the haunting kind. The kind that whispers to you in your quiet moments, asking what could have happened if you just pushed a little harder, stayed in the game a little longer, risked looking stupid just one more time. You think the greats got there by hoping. By wishing. They worked. They outworked every doubt, every fear, every failure. They didn't ask if it was fair. They didn't ask if they felt like it. They asked, is this worth it? And every time the answer was yes, they paid the price. No hesitation, no excuses, because they understood something that too many people miss. You don't get to the top by being lucky. You get there by doing what needs to be done, even when it's the last thing you want to do. You think you're gonna win just because you showed up. Showing up ain't enough. That's the bare minimum. You gotta show up hungry, starving, like the very thing you're chasing is air and you've been drowning. Like it's the last train out and the doors are closing, because if you don't treat it like life and death, someone else will, and they're gonna take what was supposed to be yours. You see, people don't fail because they dream too big. They fail because they settle too soon. They fail because they get tired and they listen to that voice inside that says, maybe it's not meant to be. But here's the truth. It's not about what's meant to be. It's about what you're willing to fight for, what you're willing to earn. You don't get what's fair in life. You get what you take, what you build, what you grind for. Success isn't a place you arrive. It's not a mountain you climb and plant your flag on. It's not a trophy you win one time and keep forever. Success is the rent you pay every single day to stay in the game. Every single day. And it doesn't care if you're tired. It doesn't care if your back hurts. It doesn't care if your friends are out partying or if you're not in the mood. That rent is due. The question is, are you gonna pay it or not? So don't tell me you want it. I don't want to hear it. Show me what you're willing to give up. Show me how hard you're willing to go when nobody claps, when nobody texts back, when nobody shows up but you, when it's raining, when it's cold, when the motivation is gone and all you've got left is grit. That's the moment of truth. That's when the real work begins. That's when you find out if you're in this for applause or for purpose. And let me tell you something else. Pain is part of the process. If you're not uncomfortable, you're not growing. If you're not scared, you're not stretching. Comfort is a killer. It seduces you into thinking you've arrived when you've barely even begun. It whispers you deserve a break when you haven't earned one. It lies. Comfort lies. And if you listen to it, if you start believing you can do just enough and still win, then you've already lost. You gotta get up earlier, stay up later, push harder. You gotta be relentless. You gotta be the kind of person who doesn't stop when they're tired. They stop when it's done. And even then, they review the film. They check the tape. They ask themselves what they could have done better. Because that's the standard. Excellence doesn't come from doing your best once in a while. It comes from demanding your best when no one would blame you for giving less. Working like hell is not about burning yourself out. It's about burning off everything that doesn't belong in your future. The laziness, the excuses, the distractions, the people who drain you, the habits that don't serve you. Working like hell means purifying your life until all that's left is focus and purpose. It means setting your life on fire with discipline and letting that fire consume everything that holds you back. Because discipline is freedom, it's control, it's choosing your suffering now so you don't have to live with suffering later. Because you will suffer, that's guaranteed. The question is, do you suffer now in the gym or suffer later in the emergency room? Do you suffer now at the desk or suffer later with the debt? Do you suffer now building your dream or suffer forever living someone else's? Most people aren't willing to do what it takes. They want it fast. They want it easy. They want it cheap. But nothing worth having comes without a cost. You pay for it in effort, in failure, in time, in patience. You pay for it in sweat and sacrifice. You pay for it by doing what most people won't, so you can live how most people can't. That's the deal. That's the trade. If you're gonna make it, you better be ready to stay when others quit. To believe when others doubt, to rise when others fold, because the journey will break you. It'll test your limits, it'll embarrass you, it'll mock your progress, and if you're soft, if you're casual, if you're weak, this life will eat you alive. You want success, then get tough, get committed, get obsessed. It's not about motivation. Motivation is fickle. It's here today, gone tomorrow. Discipline is what lasts. Discipline is doing what needs to be done even when the mood is gone. Discipline is brushing your teeth before bed, even when you're exhausted. It's getting in those reps after work, even when your legs feel like jelly. It's making the call, writing the email, finishing the chapter, because your vision demands it. And here's the truth most people don't want to admit. You will be alone. You will be misunderstood. You will lose people. Not everyone's gonna get it. Not everyone's gonna support you. Some people will resent you for daring to want more. Let them. This isn't their journey. This is your fire. This is your calling, and you're not here to be liked. You're here to be legendary. Nobody's gonna hand you a crown. Nobody's gonna knock on your door and say, "Hey, I heard you had potential. Here's everything you ever wanted." That's not how it works. You gotta earn it. You gotta demand it from yourself. You gotta work like hell for it. Every damn day. You have to grind when you're tired, when you're discouraged, when you're broke, when you're broken. You have to keep showing up even when the results aren't there yet. You have to fall in love with the process, not the outcome, because if you chase the outcome, you'll give up when it doesn't show up fast enough. But if you fall in love with the grind, if you find joy in the hustle, you'll keep going, because the work itself becomes the reward. Work like hell because nobody owes you anything, not a shot, not a chance, not a dollar. The world doesn't reward intentions, it rewards execution. You either do it or you don't. You either show up or you don't. And when it's all said and done, all the talk, all the plans, all the dreams mean nothing if you don't move. So move, take the step, do the work, show the world you're not playing. Show the world that when you say you want it, you mean it. Let your work speak louder than your words. Let your sacrifice scream louder than your fear. Let your hustle drown out the noise, and don't wait, don't hesitate, because every second you waste is a second you could have been building, becoming, growing. You're either working or you're watching. And if you're not working like hell, you're watching someone else live the life you said you wanted. So get up, get focused, get serious, and keep going until the grind becomes your nature and the hustle becomes your peace. I see too many people waiting for motivation, waiting for inspiration, waiting for the perfect moment to feel ready. Let me tell you something real clear: if you're waiting, you're already behind. If you need a perfect mood to move, you've lost the battle before you even laced up your shoes. The world doesn't slow down for your comfort. The clock doesn't pause because you're unsure. You don't get time back. Every minute you spend hesitating is a minute someone else is using to outwork you, to outgrow you, to outrun you. And while you're sitting around talking about what you're gonna do, somebody out there is doing it. While you're thinking about how hard it might be, they're grinding through it. While you're scared of failing, they're failing fast and learning even faster. That's the difference between talkers and doers. Talkers need conditions. Doers need a reason. Talkers need comfort. Doers need purpose. Talkers are controlled by how they feel. Doers are driven by what they believe. And if what you believe is strong enough, you won't wait, you won't hope, you'll act, you'll show up tired, unsure, afraid, and still get the job done. There is no coasting on the path to greatness. There is no autopilot that takes you to the top. If you want to be great, you have to be intentional every step, every rep, every hour. Intentional. You don't build a legacy by accident. You don't stumble into a life of meaning. You carve it, one brick at a time, with blood in your hands and sweat on your back and tears in your eyes. That's what it takes. That's what it's always taken. You want to leave something behind. You want to be remembered. That doesn't happen by living average. That doesn't happen by following the crowd. You want to be remembered. You better be willing to do what most people won't. You better be ready to be misunderstood, criticized, doubted, ignored, and still keep showing up. You better have a backbone, not just a wishbone. Everybody wants something, but not everybody's willing to endure what it costs. And make no mistake, it will cost you time, focus, energy, nights of doubt, mornings of pain. It's going to demand more from you than you ever thought you had. But if you want to build something that lives longer than you, something that can't be denied, that can't be broken, then you better be ready to pay in full, with interest. You gotta build a fire in your belly that doesn't go out. Not when it gets tough, not when it gets cold, not when the motivation fades and you're running on empty. That fire has to be fed by discipline, fed by vision, fed by a level of hunger that scares even you. That fire has to burn through the noise, through the setbacks, through the seasons of silence, when no one notices your effort, when no one believes in you, not even yourself. You have to stop letting temporary emotions make permanent decisions. Stop throwing in the towel because the day got hard, because your plans hit a wall, because your feelings got hurt. This is life, not a movie. It's raw, it's unfair, it's unfiltered, and it doesn't stop to wipe your tears. You either learn to wipe them yourself or you drown in them. Get up, stand up, and don't you dare let your feelings rob you of your future. You have to start treating your dreams like they're fragile. Like they can be stolen, because they can. You sleep on them too long and someone else will live them. You take your foot off the gas and someone with less talent, less experience, less support will pass you up because they were willing to suffer longer than you. That's the game. That's the grind. It doesn't reward who starts the fastest. It rewards who stays in it the longest, who survives the drought, who shows up during the famine and builds during the storm. So I don't want to hear about your dreams unless you're willing to be obsessed. I'm not talking about interested. I'm talking about consumed. Eat it, breathe it, live it, obsessed. Obsession isn't a weakness. It's a necessity. You don't clock out from purpose. You don't take weekends off from destiny. You don't rest just because the world is resting. If your dream is real, then your hustle should be relentless. You don't dabble in greatness. You dive in, fully, without a safety net, without a plan B, because the second you give yourself an exit, you've already started walking out the door. The second you say, "I'll try," you've already accepted failure as an option. You want to win, then you say, "I will." You want to dominate, then you act like your future depends on it, because it does. You want success, then work like hell. That's the rent, and it's due every day. Some days you'll feel like it, most days you won't, but the ones who make it, the ones who build the life people write books about, they're the ones who show up anyway. They lace up their boots, roll up their sleeves, and go to war with the weakness inside them. They train their mind to fight when their body wants to quit. They train their spirit to stay when their heart wants to leave. That's what separates the good from the unstoppable. Champions are not built on feelings. Champions are built on standards, a code, a level of personal accountability that doesn't flex based on emotion. They don't rise to the occasion. They rise to the level of their preparation. They grind in silence. They execute in darkness, and when the moment comes, they don't flinch. They own it, because they've lived that moment 1,000 times in their mind, in their work, in their sacrifice. So the next time you're tired, good. That means you're in the fight. That means you're stretching. That means you're alive. And the next time you want to quit, remember this. Comfort never made anybody great. Nobody got a statue built for showing up halfway. Nobody got a legacy for being mediocre. It's in the struggle that you find your strength. It's in the resistance that you build resilience. It's in the friction that you generate fire. The pain you're feeling is the price of growth. It's the tuition for greatness. Pay it. Discipline is doing the hard thing when it's the right thing. Discipline is showing up without applause. It's doing the extra reps when your legs are screaming. It's finishing the project when the rest of the world is asleep. It's ignoring the likes, the views, the followers, and choosing instead to be reliable, because you don't build greatness through performance. You build it through practice. You think those at the top are the most talented. Not always. More often, they're just the ones who didn't stop. They didn't flinch. They didn't flake. They just kept showing up when everyone else fell off. They stayed locked in. While others got distracted, they got focused. While others complained, they improved. While others begged for the storm to stop, they learned how to dance in the rain. There are people who talk about their goals like they're magic, like they're waiting for some cosmic force to make things happen. But goals aren't magic. They're a map, and a map doesn't move you. You have to move. You have to take the step, one painful, powerful, deliberate step at a time, through fear, through doubt, through criticism, through failure. You walk, you crawl if you have to, but you move. Don't wait for the stars to align. Don't wait for approval. Don't wait for the perfect plan. The plan isn't what moves the mountain. Action does. Relentless, focused, daily action. You don't need 10-year forecasts. You need daily fire, daily discipline, daily domination of the moment right in front of you. This is not a game. Life is short. Dreams die. Time runs out. And when the curtain falls, the only thing that'll matter is what you did with what you had. The work you put in, the lives you touched, the limits you broke, the battles you won inside yourself. You don't want to look back and realize you were always one decision away, one push away, one more hour of effort away from everything you said you wanted. You don't want to realize you were that close and you let it slip because you were tired, because you were scared, because you let your feelings lead instead of your fire. Work like hell, not because it's trendy, not because it looks good on social media, but because that's the only way to become who you were born to be, because greatness has never been comfortable, because dreams don't chase you back, because regret is heavy and you can't outrun it. Because this life will not wait for you to get it together. It's moving, with or without you. And if you want your name to mean something, if you want your life to echo after you're gone, if you want to be the kind of person they remember, not just for what you did, but for how you lived, then there's only one way. You know what it is. So when it's all said and done, when the noise fades, the lights dim, and the crowds disappear, what will be left? Not your excuses, not your doubts, not your fears. What will be left is the work. The hours no one saw, the sweat no one celebrated, the moments you could have quit, but didn't. That's the real trophy. That's the real legacy. You don't get this life twice. You don't get a do-over, so stop waiting. Stop wishing, get up, lock in, and work like hell, because the dream doesn't care how you feel, the goal doesn't care about your excuses, and the clock is still ticking. Be the one who refused to be average. Be the one who chose discipline over doubt. Be the one who earned their name in stone. Because when the dust settles, the only thing that separates the forgotten from the legendary is how hard they were willing to work when no one was watching. Work like hell every day until they can't ignore you.